Hey guys, here's a time-lapse video from everything I did on Twitch this week. The audio will just be chopped up from the stream, so if things don't line up right, that would be why. If anyone has any questions, just add them down below and I'll be sure to get to them. I will also be streaming on Twitch every day, weekdays around 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. and a little later on the weekends. If anyone's interested, I'll be adding progress updates as well as announcements on when I'll be streaming on my Twitch. All links down below. It depends. If I'm doing monsters and stuff, I know that the anatomy and that stuff doesn't work too, like doesn't matter too much because you're gonna stretch out the arms and it's really just about the silhouette. So you get something interesting, get some shapes you like, exaggerate a few things. And as long as you do it symmetrically, or sometimes you don't even need to do that, then it looks good. But um, yeah, no, this is how I start all my work. It's just I take a lot longer on. So say this, I'm trying to finish it quickly, so I'm speeding through a few steps. Everything's the same until it gets to highlights. I usually put highlights later on, but the colors, the lassoing, using the lasso tool to get a few colors down and stuff, that's usually what I do. Yeah. Say if I'm gonna do a character like this and I'm gonna spend a long time on it, I'll spend just a little more time making sure I like the actual initial pose. Like this has a bit of problems when you look. There's a bit of issues with the construction. Like the forms aren't exactly right, the overlapping forms, and I'm gonna try like fix that as I go in this instance. But when I'm going to push it to completion, if I was going to, I'd spend a little more time making sure that the pose works and that it looks like he's standing on the ground, which is a problem I have all the time, where my characters don't look like they're solidly standing on the ground. So this is more stuff I would focus on if I were trying to take it to completion. Sometimes I don't even do this. Sometimes like I think it should be fine, or it's not necessary when you do concept sometimes to get like proper perspective, but it's nice to try always get better and yeah, it's nice to try get better and improve, and this is one of the ways you do is you conscious about these kinds of things. So that's the big difference. But everything else, this is basically how I do my work. In the past, what I did was first I'd look at lots of reference first, so you get lots of reference, and then maybe do some sketches of the reference that you've gotten to get like a nice feel for something, and then I would start the work. But recently, I've tried to do the sketch first, then you look for reference, and then after that, then you help with the sketch, and then you make changes or whatever based on the reference. So at least I'm getting some imagination stuff out and then looking at stuff. I'm trying to do that recently. It takes a little longer, like to do your work, but I think it'll be better in the long run. It's always when you can put more learning, it's always going to help you. And sometimes you won't have time, sometimes you'll just have to try do something as quick as possible. But whenever you can, it's always good to add in as much learning as possible, because it's only going to make you a better artist. If you have better understanding, things will be easier as well. From doing more imagination stuff, I have gotten more confident with my work, which is nice. That's a nice thing to do. Like you don't feel you have to rely on stuff so much, but it's still a lot easier to just look at reference and then do stuff. It's a lot easier. So you also look at reference after you've done sketching. I heard that it's not like my original idea or anything. I heard that from other artists and I tried it and it helped and I feel better. Like everyone can work their own way and I don't think it's anything inherently wrong with starting with reference. I'm not saying that either. Like and if it comes to when you're doing work for clients and stuff, it's really use whatever you can to get the thing done. Like sometimes you get some crazy deadlines and you can't do everything you want to do. So just, yeah, use whatever you can. Use photos if you have to, use things. Or if you even want to. Some people don't. Some people prefer to use all the tricks and stuff, and they care about the idea more than the technique and stuff. So do whatever you like. Yeah, I get the thing where you're also when you're doing imagination stuff, especially when you're starting out, I had where I just couldn't fucking do anything. Like I was trying to do the concept and without looking at stuff, and it's just so hard. You're trying to get something down, and you're spending ages just drawing crap, but it does start feeling more fun just drawing. And I still have problems, obviously, but I can at least do something that looks something like something. I feel photo bashing. The point of it is to do something quickly. That's the whole point. Some people use it in different ways. Like they use it to add texture, or they use it to get some good lighting or some good colors, or to the illustration or whatever. So people use it in different ways, but the way I see it started with it just making it more efficient. So I get that. And then some people they can't actually do anything without the photos, and that's when I feel it's kind of a crutch. Yeah, you should use whatever you can, but if you're trying to learn, if you already know how to use photos and you're trying to learn from that point, then is it really helping? Because you're not understanding, you're just using photos. And so for work, I think photos is fine. Like it makes sense and it speeds up your process, it saves everyone time. But when you're doing personal work, I think maybe it's better to try sketch it out or try do it in 3D or something like that. Something where you're a little more hands-on so you can learn a tiny bit more. And that's just how I feel about it. I think like those tricks are like they're tricks and they're there to help your process. But some people they get used to the speed they can finish something with photos and then they can't do anything without photos, and I don't see a point to that. You can't do anything without photos. What's your overall goal? Like if the person doesn't care really about getting better, or they just want to get these ideas out and they care about just the idea and they're not focused on anything else, and they don't care about technique, or they don't care about learning more and creating more believable images, or they don't care about any of that stuff, then yeah, go photos all the time, go for it, who cares? But if your goal is you're trying to get better and you're trying to do other things, photos are quite limiting, and yeah, that's how. And the tricks and stuff are just tricks. You're not understanding anything. Definitely fun sometimes. Sometimes doing photos is fun. For me, I can't really do it, so I haven't spent a lot of time. I'm sure if I spent a few months doing photos and learning how to place templates down and painting on top of that, and learning how to like having more of a quick hand of how to do the curve tool, like better understanding of that. Maybe, yeah, maybe I'd like photo bashing more, but I just tend to like to draw things, all I've ever drawn in. So there's that as well. But I think a lot of people now they start with photos. They start with learning tricks to hide their lack of understanding. So they use 3D programs for perspective, and then they use photos on top of that. And then now you're getting like 3D scans of things that you can just put in certain, and there's filters and crazy, all these crazy techniques to just work with photos. You tell them to draw a picture, draw a face or something, sketch something on paper, and they can't do it at all. I just, I don't see the, I don't see the end. 'Cause Well, that's what they want, and they just want to get a job, or they just want to get an idea out and move on. Then yeah, okay. But that's not what I want. And fundamentals, you'll never truly fully understand, I feel. Like there's always more. Like you can get a good grasp on it, obviously, and you can know stuff better than other stuff. But yeah, it's something that I feel never really gonna get great at. Like you can get all right at it. So every time you do an illustration that you use photos and stuff like that, it's just a missed opportunity to learn a little more. So have a reason for why you do those things. And it comes to that whole thing. If you do photo bashing and you don't like it, then don't do it. Or if you've tried it and it wasn't for you, then don't do it. You should give things a fair go, like to when trying it or whatever. But if you don't want to, then yeah, just be honest about it. Like, yeah, I didn't really try it properly. And people keep saying that, oh, that's like the future. You have to do that when you do concept work. And I'm like, just do work that doesn't need it. I think if you're working for movies or something, yeah, you'd probably have to use photos doing movie concepting. But at the same time, I've seen artists that don't do that either. They're just really good, like insanely good. They don't use photos when they do movie stuff either. So there's no you have to do it this way kind of thing. I feel. So when I'm drawing these, I'm trying to make it like the form work and wrap around things. It's not always working, but that's what I'm thinking about and thinking about where the shadow should go. Like just a very dark shadow. Like I shouldn't really be doing any midtones, but it just makes it look better. But yeah, it'd probably save me time if I didn't do midtones. There's this guy on Instagram. I can't remember his name. I didn't really look, but he's someone I follow on Instagram, and he does just concept sketches every day, which is cool. It's cool that he can do that in a day job. It's what I want to do, and it's encouraging to see that he's doing it and people are following him and stuff for it. So like, I was worried that doing this, no one would really care about, like, who gives a shit about your weird little characters you're drawing. Like, I didn't think anyone would care. But yeah, he's got a fair following for just doing that. So that's really cool. He's built up quite a nice, steady following, which is cool. What's what I want to do. Someone's blasting in the background. I don't think anyone can hear it, but someone's blasting. Wake me up before you go go. It's, I don't know why. Every once in a while, it's just crazy. Like every Sunday, there's like church music from like 7 a.m. 7 a.m. till 8 or something. But every once in a while during the week, early in the morning, there's like random, really loud music. Don't understand why. Like, what are they doing? Like that, I'm up every morning early, so it is a little annoying, but it doesn't bother me too much. But some people that sleep, trying to sleep in, man, that must be fucking annoying. Yeah, they try that a few times a week. Gotta make sure it's tippy top. Make sure that's working. That'd be really funny if that was the reason. Like pissing everyone off in the neighborhood to make sure the audio system works. I hate that when you're working and you're trying to get something down and yeah, it takes you like forever to get an initial sketch. Man, that's the worst. Then you end up hating it. Spend 2 days frustrated at something. It's such a weird feeling as well. Like just the constantly batting your head against the wall trying to get the right sketch down. What I found to work in the past is you do just tons and tons and tons of sketches, and obviously then you start doing studies because you have there's a big problem there that you can't fix. Probably time to do studies and sketches, but not just from photos. Like look at construction books where they talk about it, and whatever your whatever your issue is. Yeah, that's what I find too. That helps, and it still sucks. But at least that way you feel you're getting somewhere. Like if you're attacking the problem with learning construction and trying to see the issues that you're having. I always had it a long time for faces where I put harsh lines everywhere, and that's an easy thing to miss, especially when you're starting out and you don't really know anything. It's an easy thing to just draw harsh lines and not realize. I'm gonna finish this thing today. God damn it. Yeah, I started a little late as well. I started when I turned 21, is when I decided to start doing this kind of crap. Yeah, and I started in like a weird position where you got tons of debt from a failed shitty course that you did, well, I did, and a lot of stress. Well, not, oh yeah, a lot of pressure to do something and make like something of myself because you have all this student debt and you have nowhere to pay it. So that's a big motivator. I think when I got to my fourth year, that's when everything really came together. Combination of studies and hard work and time and everything started paying off around about then, which is nice. Oh yeah, I never had that issue where I thought it like the mythical talent BS. I never had that. I just wanted to do something and I thought working hard would get there. And then only after you get better at things, then people are like, "Oh, you must have had this talent for your whole life." Like, it just I could never do what you did. It's like, yeah, you could if you spent like 8 years in a room doing nothing but drawing and having no social life. You could definitely do what I did. Would you want to? No, probably not. Just weird. When you're starting out, they're like, "Oh yeah, you don't have any talent," but when you get good, then they're like, "Oh, you've always had talent." And some people just use that bullshit to kind of comfort themselves while they're talking to you. They're like, it always starts with, "Oh, you have so much talent. I wish I had that much talent. Then I would have also been an artist." It's like, oh, okay, you're patting yourself on the back while you're talking to me. Cool. Is that how this is gonna go? Yeah, it's terrible. And it's I don't know, also a shitty way to think. Where oh, okay, so if someone doesn't have this talent, they can't do something, even if they like it. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I could like rant all day long about that crap. It used to bother me a lot because I'm like, you're amounting all my hard work and all those nights I spent up and all the sacrifices I've done to something I was just born with. Thank, like, fucking hell, I wish it was easy if I was born with it. It wasn't easy at all. But they don't see any of that, so yeah, it's easy to be like, yeah, that's he's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. But nowadays, I just kind of see it as a people don't really understand, so they're just using some people. It's annoying when the type of person that's just comforting themselves while they're talking to you. They're like, "Oh, if only I had what you had, I could have also done it." Like that, I hate that stuff. But you get some people that they just don't understand, like, because that talent thing. I don't know, people have been saying that for, like everyone, that's the common knowledge, that everyone thinks it's this weird talent thing. They don't quite understand it. It's just a skill that you practice at. And some people like doing it and they do it all the time. So you obviously get good at something you do all the time. I don't know how to say that first bit, but Elder. I'm not even gonna try. Let's call you Elder. What's up? You just came just in time with me drawing another Knight Shield guy. I can't believe I drew that other dude and then I forgot that I had already done a guy on Sword and Board. But yeah, and then yeah, drawing knights and talking shit. You're in the right place. What channels? Oh, I see, I see. I'm like, what channels? I'm not watching TV. No, I use that a lot when I'm doing actual painting. When I do illustrations and stuff, that's why that's open. So I use that quite a bit. So I would pull this all out, right? So you lasso each of the sections out, and then you make a channel. So you make a, what is it called? You make a masking layer for your selections, and you can easily go back and select those areas from the channels.